What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down some route running and film from five-star USC commit ZACHARIAH Branch. So I hope this video helps you guys out. Hope it could teach you a few new things. But also, fellas, if you are a wide receiver or a quarterback and would like to train with myself and my staff of coaches this offseason, we are going to be traveling out to 13 more states for 2-day-long QB and wide receiver weekend camps. Next up on our camp tour, we'll be coming out to Phoenix, Arizona, then Charlotte, North Carolina, Dallas, the DMV, St. Louis, Honolulu, Boston, Cleveland, Austin, Seattle, Newark, Denver, and Los Angeles. If you guys want some more information on that or local to one of those cities or would like to travel out, check out that very first link in the description below. We'd love to have you out to one of our camps, fellas. Let's get started with this video. So we are going to be looking at a couple different routes here from ZACHARIAH Branch at the Under Armour All-American Bowl. And then we're going to be breaking down some game film of him and talk about why he has this 5-star ranking and why he is such an explosive wide receiver that coaches love. So, first route we're going to be talking about here is a post route versus inside shade catch technique. It's tough to tell right here, but this DB is lined up catch inside shade. If not inside shade, head up, it would be the exact same way that we would approach this route. But anytime the DB's lined up inside shade, press man, catch man, he is trying to prevent the inside route, right? He does not want to let us run a post, run a dig, run a slant. He wants to force everything to the outside because the outside is where his help is. His help is the sideline. So as a wide receiver, I need to get very comfortable taking whatever release is given to me. And I'm going to play this full speed to show you what I mean by that. So Branch closes the space. That's the number one most important thing anytime we are running a route against catch technique. Anytime that the DB has any kind of cushion, and by cushion I mean space with us, we need to close that space to make him uncomfortable, especially when you have speed like Branch. Every DB is afraid of getting beat deep. So if we can close that cushion, bring that line of scrimmage to him off the line, that can threaten him a little bit, and that is obviously the goal. So when he closes the space here, he's stepping on his toes, making this DB uncomfortable, get him to start inching back. That is what we want. Because when he's on his heels and he's forcing to react, he is more likely to bite on a move that I might give him off the line. So Branch closes the space here. He attacks him, and then he gives him this move to the inside, threatening the DB's leverage. The best way to get a DB to stop his feet and press, to get him to jump off of his platform and press, is to threaten him where he doesn't want us to go. So when this DB's lineup shaded to the inside of me, trying to take away the inside route, doesn't want to give up the slant or the dig, let's threaten him with that slant or dig. Let's close the space and let's threaten him to the inside. He gets comfortable taking an outside release, even on an inside breaking route. Now, a lot of wide receivers are uncomfortable with that because they feel that, oh, well, he's just going to be right on my hip. How am I going to be able to get back to the inside? You need to make sure that we have a plan for that. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, why wouldn't he take the inside release? It's a post, right? So if it's a post, ideally we want an inside release. And yes, that is correct. But how I run my routes, how I pick releases is not based off of what route it is. It's based off of the DB's leverage. So that's why Branch is so dangerous, because I feel he's got great athleticism. He can run great routes, but he also knows how to run routes. And that is one of the things that college coaches look for in wide receivers. In today's offenses, especially USC's offense, you know, Lincoln Riley bringing that Oklahoma air raid type offense, you get a lot of one-on-one opportunities in that offense. And if you can create separation against press, against off man, against catch technique, you are going to have appeal to a college coach. It's turning more into a route running game for wide receivers, which is fantastic. And speed obviously helps with this as well. So when he takes this outside release, you need to make sure that you have a plan. So your plan should be one of two things. Obviously, in any type of man coverage situation, I would love to stack a DB. So what does stack mean? That means where you get skinny on the route, you run your route, and by getting skinny, I mean like you're trying to get into his frame. You're not trying to run away from him and go wide. You're trying to get skinny and stay tight. So this DB could be trailing your back hip. When he's trailing your back hip or directly behind you, that is a position where you are stacked. Now that stacked position is great because you kind of have a two-way go there. You could break to the outside, you could break to the inside, you could fake outside and go inside. That leaves you a lot of options. And that's exactly what Branch does here. He restacks, he gives this 1-2 hard rocker step, hips and shoulders are selling like he's running a corner, an out route, and that's what gets that DB to bite, and that is what creates a separation over the middle while maintaining spacing for my QB. Fellas, if you're a young wide receiver, and let's say you're going to a college camp, you're trying to stand out to a college coach, and you're running an inside breaking route, like a post or a dig, they don't want to see wide receivers who come off the ball and force an inside release and end up catching a post on the opposite hash, because that is never going to work in a real game situation. What's going to work in a real game situation is you keeping spacing, not running into other receivers, not running into other defenders, and taking what the DB gives us. So he's inside shade and catch. let's close the space, take what he gives me at the outside, and let's try to work to restack. If we can't restack, what do you think you could do? You could use your right hand, put it on his left shoulder and left hip, and slip under him and use that throw-by move. You just have to have a plan. Playing receiver is about having a plan, but also about being able to react on that fly. So let's play this thing again, full speed one more time. Great job attacking inside, working to restack and getting skinny, and getting separation on that post. Now, next example I want to talk about here is something that how fast wide receivers can get a lot of separation. And again, we're going to be looking at some game film of Branch here in a second and talk about why, like I said, he's got that 5-star ranking and what college coaches love about this guy. But this route is a great example of something that you see all fast guys in the NFL do. You know, you see Tyreek Hill do it, you see Jalen Waddle do it, and it's called a tempo change. So he is running kind of like this deep post or like deep bender, if you will, across the field. Now he's got a DB who's lined up, who's a little like head up coverage, shaded a little bit to the outside, right? So normally if you're running like a post route against outside leverage coverage, you would want to attack his leverage. You would try to stem him to the outside, get him to widen. So when you break on that bender, you have a bigger window for the QB. You don't want to just take off and run because when this DB's lined up outside shade, chances are he has help to the inside like a safety. Last example, he was inside shade, so where was his help? The sideline. This example, he's outside shade, where's his help? Inside. Where the opposite of his leverage is where the help would be. So what he does here is he doesn't necessarily attack his leverage. He changes tempo and then accelerates over the middle of the field. That is something that all fast wide receivers can do because when you change that tempo and you know that you are faster than this DB, that is going to be a huge, huge advantage. Because what is he supposed to do? Like, let's say you're running a route. Let's say you're running like basic situation. Let's say you're running a 12 back to 10 yard curl. So let's say I'm running a curl route, right? When you run up on a curl route, what are wide receivers taught not to do? They're taught not to raise their pad level, chop their stride, and slow down. They call that selling fade, right? So if I'm running at a DB, I start to raise up and slow down and stop selling fade. That DB starts slowing down because he starts expecting a break. He's going to match my tempo. So if you know you got DB by a couple steps, you know you're faster than him, you can use that kind of tempo change to your advantage. So if I have to run a route like a deep fade, like a deep cross, maybe a deep post, I can run at him. I can start to slow down, change my tempo because he is going to match my tempo, but at the same time, I'm closing the space with him. I'm bringing that cushion to him, bringing that line of scrimmage to him, so then I can accelerate and take off and beat him by 2-3 steps. So if you're faster than a DB, a tempo change is a great way to be able to get separation. Now, you can do this a couple different ways, right? You could use just a tempo change and accelerate and go beat him deep, or you could set up different routes. Like, let's say maybe you come off fast, you change tempo, DB's maybe seen his change tempo before, then we accelerate, he overreacts, and we put the brakes on and just sit down. Run maybe a curl, run a comeback. You can play with that tempo change, but I only really like it if you got that blazing speed and you know you're faster than the DB. You don't need to be the fastest guy on the field, but if you're faster than that guy matched up with you one-on-one, that is a great way to be able to get separation. And now, like I said in the beginning of the video, like normally what you would do on an inside breaking route versus outside leverage like this is you would try to attack his leverage, right? You would stem him to the outside. You try to attack something called his blind spot because that's what's going to widen him and that can get you space. And you absolutely can do that. But a tempo change is just a more creative way to kind of run this route and create that space. So let's play this thing again, full speed one more time. Great job by Branch using that tempo change. When you got speed like him, man, that tempo change is dangerous. That is something that will get you a ton of space against any type of DB that you're faster than. Okay, so now we're going to be breaking down some game film of him here. And reason why I'm going to show these next two clips of him in a live game scenario is because there are a lot of high school wide receivers, youth wide receivers that watch this. And I'm sure a lot of you have dreams and aspirations of playing football at the next level. And so many people want to play at the next level, and so many people can't play at the next level. Now, next level doesn't necessarily mean D1, USC, all that. You know, it could be D3. You might just want your school to get paid for it. NAIA, Division II. You might want to go the JUCO route and then play at the next level. There are so many different avenues to play college football. And I really do think it's possible for everybody with the right work and the right process. I really do. Like, I think if you put the work in, you put the time in, you're doing the correct things, you're smart about it, you can get some of your education paid for, without a doubt. Now, some people, you might be undersized. Some people may not be fast. That's where like that NAIA D3 level, D2 might be the best course of action for you. But if you're doing the things correct, you have a correct highlight tape, you're making the right plays on film, you can stand out to those types of coaches. And those coaches don't get approached by athletes because all the athletes want to approach the D1, FBS, FCS schools. But imagine you reach out to a D3 school, D2 school, and you got great film. That is really going to make you stand out. Now, the reason why I go on that whole spiel right there is because I want you to see this play from Zach Branch, because this is exactly what a college coach at any level looks for in a wide receiver. So let's play this full speed. So he's going to be out of the number 3. It's tough to see him at first here, but you got the number 1, the number 2 slot, and then the number 3 is a trips concept. He's running a bubble screen. College coaches want to see this right here. Taking a bubble screen 50, 60 yards of the house, make a couple people miss, make a sweet cut back to the inside, and scoring a TD. That is what a college coach wants to see. And if you can showcase plays like this on your film, you will stand out to a college coach. And Branch has plays like this all over his film. Now, reason why college coaches want to see this is they want a playmaker. They don't want a wide receiver. Like if you catch this bubble and take it 12 yards and then just get tackled, yeah, that's a 12-yard reception. Good for you. And maybe it's a touchdown. You know, maybe you're like on the 12-yard line, you catch a ball and it's a touchdown. But if you're wide open, it's not an explosive play, that doesn't draw any attention. Fellas, a college coach will probably look at your film or your highlight tape for 1 minute at the absolute max. So many people put out these 7-8 minute long highlight tapes with all these useless plays that don't make you stand out. It's just going to bore people. Your first 30 seconds to a minute, it's a job interview. And these are the types of plays that you need on your film. If you're going into your first year starting on varsity, maybe you're a sophomore, junior, even a senior, it's possible to get recruited, but these are the plays that you need to make. So how can we work on this type of stuff? Obviously, it requires a lot of speed to make plays like this. So in the offseason, doing different exercises, doing different drills to improve your speed, maybe invest in a speed coach. So many people want to take the short, easy way out of things and, oh, I'm going to pay for some recruiting service and they're going to put me on, or I'm going to go to this 7-on-7 team, they're going to put me on. No, fella, like you need to invest in your game first, because if you don't have the game to back it up, none of that crap matters. Because everybody sees Zach Branch and all these other 5-star guys, you know, all over overtime and under the radar, all these different things that promote them. And they think that just happened overnight. They think that, oh, I got to go get on under the radar overtime to be able to get exposure and get offers and get it recruited. No, they had the film first. The film is what got them to that spot. So if you don't have the skills, that's a great part about football. You're going to get exposed. So invest in yourself this offseason. Invest in getting your route running better, your speed better, your agility better, your explosiveness. All of those things will lead you to get recruited. Oftentimes, people just want the shortcut to getting offers and recruited. You need the film to back it up. So now, here's another play from Zach Branch. He's not a very big guy, right? Not a big dude. And this team that he's going up against is Mater Dei. If anybody knows anything about high school football, Mater Dei is one of the best teams in the country. California, they're either first or second place every single year. It really doesn't matter. It's them and Bosco every single year. So this is a play. He's running a fade ball. He doesn't have the best release here. But let's think about the scenario. Great team that he's playing, probably a Division I caliber DB, and he makes this great catch over the top. This is another type play that you can make. Now, reason why I showcase this is because probably not everybody watching this is that shorter slot speed guy who can take a bubble screen to the house. Some of you might be, and that's great. But if you're not, these are the types of plays that college coaches want to see. They want to see plays that they don't expect you to make. So the reason why Zach Branch has got all this hype, got all this recruiting attention, is because he's one of the most explosive players in the country. That's what you guys should be trying to strive for. You shouldn't be striving for views and Instagram followers and, oh, did this video get this many? No, you guys got to strive to actually improve your game. And if your game's not there to back it up and you just have all this hype, you're a fraud. And you see nowadays why so many people enter that dang transfer portal, but how many people don't end up finding a home after that transfer portal? They got all this hype. They go to these schools. They got these fake offers. They go to a school. They don't play because it was all fake in the first place. They go to that transfer portal and nobody wants them because they know that they're a fraud. Fellas, you don't want to be a fraud. You want to be a legitimate guy who gets a committable, real offer. And these are the types of plays that coaches are looking for. I have to say this because so many people have the wrong idea when it comes to recruiting. Fellas, you watch the best guys. Like you look at the top of the line guys. Not that 3-star that you don't know how he's a 3-star and he's an 8th grader and he doesn't have any film. You need to look at those 5-star guys, 4-star guys who are going to these Power 5 schools and watch their film. And the film does not lie. You look at Mekhi Lemon out of Los Alamitos, California. You look at ZACHARIAH Branch. You look at Brandon Innes. All those guys have the most explosive highlight tapes there are, and that is what a college coach wants to see. So fellas, plays like this, jump ball catches in traffic, making plays against big competition. That's a huge one. Modern Day's number 1 in the nation, number 2 in the nation always. But they beat out Florida teams. They beat Texas teams. They beat everybody in California, top of the line. And if you're going to play one of those teams, you need to make big plays against those teams, because that is another thing that will stand out to college coaches. They know that you can handle that level of competition. So let's play this again, full speed one more time. Great job by Branch. Not the greatest release in the world. Could have attacked him a little more, but that's a way to finish on the play, and that's what college coaches want to see. All right, fellas, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. Always appreciate the feedback. It's always great to hear from you guys. And again, fellas, if you'd like to come out and get some work in with us in 13 states this offseason that we will be coming out to, check out that very first link in the description below. We would love to have you out. I'll see you guys next time.